Hi everybody, this is Otis Bradley from 50green.com TV. This is number 11 in a series of 50 green things you can do to your home now. Sunshades. Today we're talking about sunshades. This is kind of fun. Why sunshades? It's a method of passive solar design, as you'll see. It's a way to create an indoor-outdoor room relatively inexpensively that has a lot of ventilation, is very airy and shady. It's great for southern parts of the country. It's inexpensive to put together, and it's pretty simple. A couple reasons why you might not want to do this. Bugs. If you live in a really buggy area, you might want a screened-in porch or patio instead of an open-air one. Also, if you're in a very cold area, might not make as much sense, or a super windy area. Alright, what are sunshade structures? I'm going to show you some high-tech examples. This can go extremely high-tech as well as low-tech. And this is a small one, but it's actually kind of a high-tech use. This is a lifeguard shelter. You can see the pool here. Lifeguard sits up here. This is a steel post. It's thoroughly designed to withstand wind loads, and you can see how this fabric is stretched over here really tightly. So this is all custom made for this particular design, and this post is probably sunk into a big footing down here that's in beside the pool. Another example, this is the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, and this is a parking structure. And here is a residential example, more like what I'm going to show you today. This uses several different pieces of fabric. You can see there's a triangular piece here. It's actually kind of hard to see what they are. Maybe they're all triangles. They use an orange color for this one and a light orange color. It looks like a desert sort of area. And you can see all the great shade that it produces, but it allows airflow to come through there, which is really nice. This is a playground. Again, it looks like it's in a desert kind of community. They used multiple pieces of fabric. This is the Denver airport, and this is what it looks like from the outside. I actually was caught there a huge snowstorm in March, very wet snowstorm. Tons of wet snow was on these things, so this one had to be designed for heavy snow loads as well as wind loads, as well as it's obviously a huge building. Alright, so here let me walk you through a little project we did in Ojai several years ago. This is the before shot, and in Ojai we have dry, hot weather, beautiful views of the mountains out back that we wanted to capture. So we came up with a little plan, and you can see this here is it's cut off part of the back floor plan of the house. So you can see there's the house, and this is the back side of the building. We designed a 12-foot wide by 40-foot long slab. Just to give you an idea, a garage is 10 feet wide by 20 feet deep. So 40 feet would be a 4-car garage in width and half in depth. We're only 12 feet here. A nice long piece. This particular client wanted some planters as well, so we added 4 planters on each corner, built those out of block. And you can see here what we did is we sunk several steel posts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The steel posts, these are 3-inch diameter steel posts which come in 20-foot lengths, so we buried it in the ground and let them stick up 15 feet high. We did a little elevation study here how this was going to work. I played with different shapes of these sails. So to do this the inexpensive way, you can get pre-made sails. They have some that are long triangles, they have some that are rectangular size. You have to remember when you hang these things, they actually sort of sag a little bit. So when I made these drawings, I sort of created that sag effect that they will have when they're hanging. But you can combine these in a bunch of different ways. You can do a lot of different things. We eventually came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 6 sails of this triangular size, and we ended up adding some more on top because when they sagged they didn't provide as much shade as we wanted. But you could overlay all kinds of interesting patterns of squares, rectangles, depends on your plan. So here is a shot of the house, and you can see the planters are marked out here. We built those out of concrete block first. Then we came in here and built the slab. This little tractor here had a drill rig which conveniently drilled these post holes 5 feet deep. We sunk those into concrete, and you can see we put a ring on the top, and we put a D ring right here. This is something you can play with, and you can also, I think it would be a good idea to also put some sort of a cleat here and then do a pulley thing, so you can easily attach the ropes to bring these up and take these sails down, because this particular job you have to climb up here and unhook the sails. Depends how MacGyver you want to get on these things. Okay, so again, the 3-inch steel pipe column, and you can get these at any place that does welding, fabrication of steel. But these are simple round steel columns, and we had them put a top on these with a ring on the top, and then what they call a D-ring on the side. As I said, I would probably put some sort of a cleat on there as well next time I did this, so that we could put and I'm not sure this one on top works as well as a D-ring, but you could put a pulley on here, and then you could have a string, so you could attach these things, tighten them, take them down at will. Also, it's nice to have a couple different heights. So this one was 15 feet above the ground. Remember, we had a 20-foot post, and we had our ground down here, so we dug a 5-foot hole, planted that post in there, put a little gravel down here on the bottom, and then we filled that up with concrete. So we had 15 feet above ground, 5 feet in the ground. Depending how big, how big these sails are, what your wind loads might be, you want to make sure this post is going to be planted well in there. And here's the finished job. You can see these planters. These are just concrete block, which later got stuccoed, and you can see the nice color, integral color. That means the color is put into the concrete. This is sort of a rosy brown clay type color, and it was what we call wet scored. So when the concrete is wet, we actually hand tool these patterns in there, which does a couple things. Allows your concrete to shrink, and it presets a crack in there so that you don't get expansion cracks, and it also gives kind of a nice, almost tiled look to it. Another shot of it as it's planted. You can see this is early morning because we have these long shadows. This is the western side of the house, so during the middle of the day when the sun is up high, you get the most shade. You want to pay attention when you do this where your sun angle is. So if you have a house that is facing, if this is north up here, and this is your east side, I'm sorry, this is the east side, not the west side, east side, obviously your sun is going to come up in the morning on the east side here and shine in. Depending on how and when you want to create the shade, you want to think about that when you design this thing. And here's another shot from a little further away. Okay, so some details about this project. Obviously we saw some engineered systems. Those can be very expensive and for very large buildings. What we did here was a very simple system. Depending on your community, you may or may not have to have zoning or permits for this kind of thing. Some resources. Sunports.com. They have a lot of examples of sort of the higher end, more complicated, pre-tensioned steel type structures. Shade Sails also does the same kind of thing, but they also have some products that are pre-made in various different qualities. I think a high, medium, and low quality. That's where we got the shades for this. A bunch of different colors, a bunch of different shapes that you can get. I think Coolaroo is another one you might even see at Home Depot or Lowe's. So why sunshades? Well, you can create a sophisticated or simple structure. It's a great way to make an outdoor space. It's also a non-conditioned space, so you don't have to heat or cool it. No air conditioning costs. It really works well for hot climates like we've showed you. It also it allows air to move through it, unlike an attached porch, which can actually retain a lot of heat. These shades will move in the wind. It's very pretty and sculptural and allows air to come through. Works well in hot climates, and it's fun. So that's number 11, another project you can do right now. Thank you very much. This is Otis Bradley, and we'll see you on the next one.